And that brings me to today's show. Good morning. Welcome to the morning show. If you would hit that like button, it does help out, bring more people to these topics that come across my radar. And this one has been across the radar a number of times, and it's back. And it's back in a big way. And so I want to update you all on what's going on with uh, the Small Business Administration. Again, you see on the screen, right? It sends 562,000 suspected fraudulent loans to Treasury for collection totaling $22 billion. Okay. And what they're talking about is that PPP money, that PPP money. And in case you thought they forgot, I went over this a while back, where President Biden passed, and this article is from 2022, where President Biden signs legislation giving watchdogs more time to fight pandemic fraud. And so we are here now. Now, this article that was posted by the SBA came out on April 24th, and let's go through this a little bit. StreamYard. Here we go. Share this tab, okay? Today, in coordination with the White House Task Force to eliminate fraud, the U.S. Small Business Administration announced that it has referred 562,000 suspected fraudulent loans to the U.S. Department of Treasury for collection. Okay. And some of you probably been getting those things in here. I know quite a few people had a problem with a post I did years ago about this PPP loan, and how much of that money ended up in Andrews, South Carolina. And a lot of you thought it was over. I actually, again, did some reports on when Biden signed that 10-year extension. And I said, man, this is setting up for something down the road, like type deal. And here we are. We are down the road now. And so let's talk a little bit about that this morning. Now, let me be clear. Let's be clear here, okay? From the start, not every person who got a PPP loan or an EIDL loan did something wrong. There were real businesses that were hurting. There were real small businesses trying to keep people paid, keep the lights on, and survive during COVID. If you were there, you remember it was a tough time. But let's also be truthful about what happened during that time too. There was a lot of fraud, okay? And it didn't just take place in big cities like Atlanta, LA, New York City, Vegas, whatever big city, you name it. It didn't just take place there. It touched down in small towns like the one we're from, Andrews, South Carolina, to be exact. and many towns across South Carolina. I got the list. I'm looking at the list right now. I'm not going to post that list because I got my account shut down the last time because I was posting the truth, and you know that's a no-no on social media, right? And so places where everybody knows everybody, and folks saw people that had real businesses suddenly acting like that didn't have real businesses, uh, never had a real business. All of a sudden, these people were um, taking trips. You know what I mean? Filling out paperwork saying that they had employees and all this other stuff that is now coming to roost. They had employee contracts and expenses overnight, and now the federal government is moving. According to the U.S. Small Business Administration, they refer, you heard me say it earlier, 562,000 suspected fraudulent pandemic era loans to the U.S. Treasury for collection. The total amount is about $22.2 billion in loans. The SBA called it the largest referral package in the agency's history and said this was done in coordination with the White House task force to eliminate fraud. That means that this is no longer just talk. This is moving into collection mode. And when the Treasury gets involved, that changes the game. Okay? That changes the game. The Treasury offset program can collect past due federal debt by intercepting federal payments, including things like tax refunds, depending on what laws allow. Treasury also has administrative wage garnishment authority. Certain delinquent federal non tax debts and can allow, going too fast this morning, pay attention, my Evo, up to 15% disposable pay to be withheld through an employer. So when people hear collection, don't think that that means a polite letter and then it goes away. Collection can mean refunds get intercepted. It can mean federal payments get offset. It can mean wage garnishment. It can mean government is not asking anymore. It's coming to recover taxpayer money. That's what that means ultimately. And as a part of part of the big picture, the SBA Inspector General previously estimated that more than $200 billion in COVID era EIDL and PPP loans may have been dispersed potentially to fraudulent actors. Oh my goodness. That estimate represented at least 17% of the money in those programs. The OIG also reported nearly 30 billion had already been seized or returned through work with SBA Secret Service or other agencies and financial institutions. So let's put this in plain English. During COVID, the government opened the money window. Some people who were legitimate businesses owners used the program right away, but a lot of people who saw the opportunity to inflate payrolls, falsify employee counts, just make up fake businesses, that money is going to be repaid. And now the government is saying it was not free money. And here's the part that matters locally. In towns, uh, these small towns, people saw it. You know, people may not have people may not have had the paperwork that I had, but they saw it. The lifestyle change. They saw folks who were operating real businesses, slowly buying cars, flashing cash, taking trips. Dominican Republic got war out and acting like money came from nowhere. And some of those communities still look the same. No businesses, struggling roads, struggling school, struggling small business, and working people that never get a break. That's why this matters, because when fraud happens like on this scale, it's not victims. It's the victims of the taxpayers, the victims of the honest business owners, the victims because when I went back for more money, they was like, nah, we didn't disperse all the money in that big city, but all those businesses. That list is crazy, and it did not go away. It did not go away. I'm looking at it right now. And you look, a lot of businesses actually needed that money, the businesses that went out of business. But you had people gaming the system. And now, these 562,000 loans are described as suspected fraudulent loans. That does not mean every person has been convicted. That does not mean that every case is the same or everybody will be convicted. Some people may dispute the debt. Some may have paperwork. Some may have made a mistake. But according to the Small Business Administration, these loans have now been referred to the Treasury for collection. That tells you the federal government believes there is enough there to start clawing that money back. And for anybody who thought that the Small Business Administration money was old news, it's not old news anymore. The government may have been slow, but it's moving now. So this morning's message to you is simple. If you took pandemic money honestly, keep your records. If you made a mistake, you better get in front of it now. And if you knowingly stole taxpayers' money, created fake paperwork, or pretended to have a business you did not have, it appears that the government is coming after you now. Because the same federal government that can find a man over a few $100s is now starting to go after billions. And towns like Andrews and all these small towns across South Carolina, people know the story is not just national. People know the story is local. And they know it happened right around us. And now the bill may finally be coming due. So, in the words of hawkamaniacs all around the world, what you gonna do when the federal government comes for you?